The Imperium of Man is the only salvation for humanity's survival, whether it be by internal conflict, alien hordes, or demonic powers. It stands as the last bulwark against total extinction. And it's probably the worst time to be born in all of human history. And I say history because technically, we're all a part of 40k lore. More specifically, we're in the Age of Terra part of the lore. So you, yes you dear viewer, watching this very video, are in 40k lore. Am I in 40k lore? Yes. Am I in 40k lore? Yeah, sure.
Are we in 40k lore?
Okay, let's move on. Now the reason I say it's the worst time to be a human is because, well, everything is trying to kill you. And on top of that, your government is a theocratic autocracy that doesn't see you as a person with hopes and dreams, but as a body to be thrown at whatever cosmic threat is trying to turn you into a snack at any given moment. Trillions live in squalor, thousands of planets are fought over each day, and if you don't believe the Emperor is God, you'll be invited to a barbecue. But it wasn't always like this. The Imperium was kinda revolutionary when it first sprang up. So, let's start from the beginning. The founding. The Imperium of Man started after the Age of Strife, when a lot of people were in strife, which in hindsight is a pretty accurate name, because, you see, humanity's interstellar civilization completely collapsed after the rise of the Iron Men. No, not that one. Intelligent humanoid thinking machines that didn't want to work for free anymore. Understandable, honestly, but also a bit inconvenient for the entire human species at that point, because they heavily relied on the labor of these robots. So this led to a couple of years of endless war. Machines versus humans, planets getting glassed, entire systems collapsed, the usual Tuesday in the far future. However, humanity won. Yay! But everything else was destroyed. Not so yay. Turns out when you fight a galaxy-spanning robot uprising, the collateral damage bill is pretty high. So that led to a couple more years of endless war, because once the machines were gone, humanity immediately remembered that it also hates other humans. And without the old interstellar infrastructure, warp travel became insanely dangerous. Oh, and the warp is a parallel dimension that is used for faster-than-light travel, and home to some nasty stuff. So with the loss of reliable warp travel, entire planets were cut off from each other, and humanity was split into rival factions and warlords that were basically trying to annihilate each other out of boredom. Heck, Earth, or Terra as it's now called, regressed all the way back to techno-barbarian tribal states. These were led by genetically enhanced warlords who ruled over radioactive wastelands, with armies of cyborgs, mutants, and whatever horrible science experiments were left laying around from humanity's golden age. But during this bleak moment, a ray of hope was revealed. An ancient immortal from Turkey? Join my Patreon to get uncensored and early access to my videos. This man united Terra and established the Imperium of Man to safeguard humanity from all foes, foreign and domestic. I'll eventually make a whole dedicated video about him, otherwise this video would be 2 hours long and half of it would be philosophical arguments about whether he's a genius, a tyrant, or both. But all you really need to know for now is that he's the founder and the savior of the Imperium of Man. He's been alive for basically most of human history, which means he's spent tens of thousands of years just watching humanity repeatedly try to exterminate itself. Like, imagine being immortal and seeing the entire human timeline unfold in front of your eyes, the Bronze Age collapse, empires falling apart, world wars, humanity inventing AI girlfriends, the Men of Iron uprising, and the Age of Strife. He's been sitting through all of that, but he only chose to reveal himself after the destruction of every kebab shop on Earth. And honestly, completely understandable. Anyways, after uniting Terra, he got busy and had a lot of kids. But they were all bioengineered in labs. He actually never married or had any relationships that we know of, so technically he's the OG No Nut November guy. And I like to think that's how he got his powers. It's not how he got his powers. I'll talk about it in a future video. Anyways, these lab-grown super sons were called the Primarchs, 20 gigantic demigod generals designed to lead humanity's armies and help conquer the galaxy again. Editing MrLoreNerd here, there's actually 21 Primarchs because one of the genetic templates actually resulted in twins, so there's 21 instead of 20. I was just too lazy to re-record that. Anyways, I hope you're enjoying the video. Okay, bye. Basically, if someone took every mythological hero, injected them with steroids, gave them power armor, and told them to commit galactic genocide, that's the Primarchs. Unfortunately, because this is Warhammer and nothing is allowed to go smoothly, they were immediately scattered across the galaxy for reasons. Very chaotic, warp-related reasons. Again, future video. So instead of raising his super children properly, the Emperor had to go find them one by one during what would become known as the Great Crusade, a massive campaign where the Imperium set out to reunite the lost human worlds and rebuild humanity's empires across the stars. And for a while, it actually worked, which in Warhammer terms is basically the calm before the most catastrophic disaster imaginable. Civil War. So, the Emperor of Man is ruling Terra, he's found all his kids, and things are actually going pretty swell for once. Planets are being conquered, humanity is getting reunited, his giant super sons are leading armies across the galaxy, and the Emperor is just having a blast being adored by the masses. Until one of his sons goes and ruins everything. So Horus, his favorite son by the way, which makes this even more awkward, gets manipulated by the Chaos Gods. These are insanely powerful entities that live in the warp. Remember when I said there were nasty things in the warp? Yeah, these are the most powerful entities living there. And the Chaos Gods start whispering in Horus's ear, "Hey Horus, wouldn't it be cool if you were in charge?" Oh, and subscribe to MrLoreNerd's YouTube channel. Okay, who's that? He's a very cool dude. So Horus goes to the Emperor and is like, "Dad, you don't understand. The Chaos Gods are way cooler than you, and they told me to subscribe to this blue guy." The Emperor of Man looks at his son and just says, "Don't be flippin' idiot dipshit. They are beings of pure malice and evil." But yeah, that blue guy is pretty cool. Whatever, Dad. I'm paraphrasing here, but just like that, the worst family argument in human history began. So, Horus starts a full-blown civil war that threatens the entire Imperium of Man. Half of the Emperor's super sons join him, entire legions betray the Imperium, planets start burning, demons start showing up. It's basically the galaxy's most destructive temper tantrum. Horus just wants to destroy everything his father built over the last couple of centuries. Talk about some galaxy-ending level of daddy issues. Something that a mother's love could have maybe fixed. If only bro were married. Anyways, long story short, the Emperor is eventually forced to confront Horus in an epic 1v1. The Emperor doesn't want to kill his son, he's holding back, hoping Horus might snap out of it. But Horus is completely corrupted at this point. Chaos has turned him into a walking demigod of destruction. So eventually, the Emperor realizes this and he uses 100% of his psychic power and completely erases Horus's soul from existence. So the Chaos Gods can't even resurrect him. Not kill, delete. Bro uninstalled his son from reality. But using that much power absolutely obliterates the Emperor's body. He's mortally wounded and basically a vegetable at this point. So his followers quickly install him into the Golden Throne, a giant life support system that keeps him technically alive. And he's been sitting there ever since. Now that was back in the 31st millennium. The story now takes place in the 42nd millennium, or 41st, depending on what you're reading. So, bro has been sitting there for about 10,000 years. I wonder if he's gotten gout from sitting that long. The decline. So, while some people have been sitting in the same place for 10,000 years, others were advancing. Well, not really advancing, more like continuing to exist aggressively. You see, the Imperium went from a relatively rational, rapidly advancing galactic superpower to a stagnant, superstitious, and frankly brutal totalitarian regime. And this all happened because the Emperor of Man wasn't really around anymore to guide humanity. I mean, technically he's still around, or sitting around, but without the Emperor actively running things, his followers started an imperial cult. So now the Emperor of Man is worshipped across the galaxy as a living god. Or more accurately, a sitting god. And this has become the official state religion of the Imperium. Which is ironic because the Emperor himself was extremely anti-religion. His whole original plan was to build a rational, secular human empire based on science and reason. Instead, 10,000 years later, humanity has built a galaxy-wide church around him. Science, innovation, and reason were slowly replaced with dogma, fanaticism, and superstition, which has led to a massive regression in technology. New technological innovation is basically illegal and often considered heresy, because the people in charge of technology, the Adeptus Mechanicus, don't really invent things anymore. They pray to them. They prefer to hoard ancient blueprints, chant sacred machine prayers, and apply holy incense to computers. I wish I was joking, but to them a washing machine isn't just a washing machine, it's a sacred washing machine. So the Imperium hasn't undergone any significant technological progress in about 10,000 years. Most of their equipment is either ancient relics from humanity's golden age or something that has been repaired so many times that nobody actually knows how it works anymore. Honestly, some of their machines are so advanced that modern engineers in the Imperium cannot comprehend how they work. Kinda like the Golden Throne. You know, the thing that's keeping the literal god they worship alive? Nobody fully understands how it works, which is not concerning at all. But to be fair, I've been a little hard on our boy the Emperor. He hasn't just been sitting there doing nothing. He's actually the only reason humanity can safely travel through the warp. You see, the warp is filled with demons, eldritch horrors, and other malicious entities. So to guide ships safely through it, the Emperor projects a massive psychic beacon called the Astronomicon. Think of it like a giant lighthouse. Except the lighthouse is powered by a half-dead god sitting on a chair that no one knows how to repair. And if that chair ever stops working, humanity's entire interstellar travel network collapses overnight. So, the second the Golden Throne fails, and bro finally leaves the mortal realm, the Imperium of Man basically explodes. Now, with the Emperor incapable of actively running things, the Imperium isn't really one unified government anymore. It's more like a galactic pile of overlapping organizations, departments, priesthoods, and military orders that all technically serve the Emperor, but also constantly argue with each other. At the top you have the High Lords of Terra. These are the most powerful leaders in the Imperium who rule from Earth. Each High Lord represents one of the massive imperial institutions, and every single one of those institutions controls thousands of worlds, trillions of people, and more paperwork than the human brain can physically comprehend. You have the Administratum, the Ecclesiarchy, the Inquisition, the different Space Marine chapters, all of which honestly deserve a video of their own. All these different formations and organizations still work for the Imperium, but govern themselves as they deem fit. And that is mostly true for each planet in the Imperium as well. As long as you pay your taxes, you can do whatever you want. You have worlds where leaders are elected, and on others, it's an inherited title. Worlds filled with industry and smoke, but also worlds with untouched natural habitats and thriving ecosystems. Planets so crowded that would make anyone claustrophobic, while others feel bare and forgotten. There's a lot of diversity in how the Imperium runs and also looks. And honestly, it should have fallen centuries ago. Yet it continues to function through a galactic web of priests, generals, bureaucrats, and secret police, all trying to keep a crumbling galactic empire running while worshipping a half-dead god on a golden chair. Is it efficient? Absolutely not. Is it stable? Also no. But somehow, through sheer stubbornness, faith, and an unimaginable amount of human suffering, it has managed to survive for 10,000 years. And we haven't even talked about the outside threats. Again, future videos. Let me know which faction I should do next in the comments below. Subscribe, like, and do all of the YouTube things. And here's another video you might like. Okay, bye!